Hey guys, I'm Steve Mobby.
I'm Andy Wyke.
I'm Shane Ireland.
I'm Alan Britt.
And I'm Shane Ireland. This is the mystery review for March, mystery tobacco review. We have a new panelist with us today, Mr. Steve Mobby, customer service manager at Smoking Pipes. Steve has been an inquisitor a number of times, and we thought it appropriate to flip the script and punish him.
2 for 2.
2 for 2. Yeah. We were about to be 0 for 0.
Yep.
0 for 100.
Yeah.
And today,
Vote of confidence.
This one's not going to go well, guys. Spoiler alert. So our guest inquisitor today is our very own Tyler Caldwell. He is our junior cigar specialist and just general wizard of tasting stuff, particularly tobacco. Tyler's also a pipe guy and a long participant in the mystery cigar review. And I think he went out of his way to try to make fools of us this time around.
I think it's going to work.
I think it's going to work.
Yeah.
I think it's going to work. So,
I'm already confused.
yeah.
Anyone have any first thoughts? Just on the cut, I'm a little stumped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my original thought on the cut was Denmark.
Yeah, same. I was thinking European for sure.
Yeah. It's quite moist right out of the bag. So
That was the first thing I noticed.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that it was goopy per se, but it was definitely a little moist.
It was springy for several minutes of airtime, yeah.
Definitely had some topping in the bag note.
Yeah. Almost felt vinegary. Or at least a general zing.
It's very tangy upon the first light.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to get the ember to sort of even out here. Plenty of spice on the retrohale, plenty of tang, a little zesty maybe, but it's not super bright tasting so far, at least to me.
Yeah, definitely for me has those more bready than citrusy, and more what I would associate with Red Virginias over brights.
Yeah.
But also just some rich robustness that I can't necessarily put my finger on. A smokiness that obviously isn't Latakia, but it's there.
No, pepper and bread are what I'm getting the most, especially the pepper on the retro. Very like full mouth feel with the smoke, like producing a lot of smoke, even when I don't feel like I'm lighting it that intensely. And then it just proved me a liar because now it's going out.
Man, I'm pretty convinced that there's a substantial portion of Red Virginia. Alan, you mentioned bready more than I'm getting bready notes, malty notes, tangy notes, much more than citrus and grass and hay and stuff like that. Not a crazy amount of sugar so far. And I'm tasting something else that I briefly considered whether it was Perique or whether it was dark fired.
Yeah. I'm leaning dark fired.
I'm definitely leaning dark fired more so than Perique.
It feels like a small portion, but that may be that like robustness that's just kind of in the profile. It doesn't feel like it's in my face, but it's there.
There's some like wine-like notes. A little bit. Like I don't get that from a lot of blends. Typically stuff that has like really good Latakia and Orientals in it. But I have noticed that with certain Italian cigars in the past as well, like a fruitiness that's still kind of like mostly a dry finish.
Yeah.
That I kind of associate with like bold red wines. Yeah.
It's super
Dry for sure.
Yeah.
Dry for sure.
I'm
And I wasn't getting fruit when I first lit it, but as I'm working my way through the bowl a little bit, I do kind of feel some of that, like you say, sort of that natural fruitiness that you would associate with a dry red wine.
I mean, sometimes Virginia Periques give those vibes too. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I feel like this is the most concentrated we've been on what we're smoking in like many of these. For real though, this is an interesting submission, I'll say.
It's one to figure out.
Yeah. It's pretty refined overall. I'm also questioning whether or not I think it has any significant age.
Yeah.
Yeah, my first thought was young.
My first thought was not young.
Okay. And it is kind of like changing on me, even just in a little bit that I've smoked, that I would be willing to admit being wrong about that.
About a week and a half ago, Tyler was showing off a tin of it was one of the Smoking Pipe's 20th anniversary.
Oh yeah, the
XX Dark.
XX
Dark.
I don't think it was the dark. I want to say it was the red tin.
XX.
I know he had one. He has one of each.
He has, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I saw him with the dark. I didn't realize he had one of each.
Yeah.
I also didn't know we were allowed to like investigate these before.
He just like shoved it in my face. I don't. It's like not really
That's
good
just called.
investigating.
That's just called paying attention.
yeah.
Situational awareness.
I'm always watching all of you. I'm always watching all of you.
Yeah.
And be like, I saw Steve sniffing around the bulk jars 3 months ago.
Once again, Steve, you see but do not observe.
No, but for real, he had those tins and was like showing them off not that long ago.
Yeah.
Now, that would be either like the most calculated red herring ever, and he's like diabolical, or just like a huge error.
He is pretty diabolical.
He is.
I'll give you that.
If I had one adjective to describe Tyler, it would be diabolical.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I still. It's been a while since I smoked either of those, the XX or the XX Dark.
I feel like I would be getting more age, and I feel like I would be getting more richness and more
Yeah.
perique.
I was gonna
Like
say
this still tastes European to me.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Now, granted, I did not get any of those 20th anniversary tins. Those both had the fairly old perique in them, right?
And like decent percentages of it too.
Yeah. I feel like that would be a lot more
Obvious.
pronounced
Yeah.
if that was the case.
So no, I'm not. I don't really think that's what we're smoking. At least I hope not.
The handful of blends that had that old perique did have a vinegariness to them, though.
Yeah, sure. This also just doesn't taste. I don't feel like this is fresh, but it doesn't taste even 4 or 5 years old to me. It's a little too sharp.
If it was that old.
Yeah, it's a little too sharp.
There's
like,
a lot of rough edges.
yeah, I don't even know if I would say rough edges, but when you talk about those tangy flavors in Virginias that are somewhat younger post-manufacture, yeah, they're just a little more piquant and a little less smooth, I suppose.
Yeah. That's what I meant by rough edges. I don't mean like harshness or anything like that. It's just not quite as smooth and rounded as I would expect for something that had 4 or 5 years of age.
It's,
Oh, go ahead.
I'm just gonna say, for me, it's got some nick hit to it. Like, this is robust. This is pretty full, for me at least.
Are we all sure that we're tasting the same thing here? Because we all had different bags that were labeled with their names.
Yeah. That would be pretty diabolical.
I don't know. I feel like my experience is a little bit different from what you guys are describing here. Like, this reminds me of like a McBaron with a couple years of age on it.
Really?
And I will say one distinction that I've noticed is Alan's talking about the nick hit. I'm not feeling that at all. I'm feeling like this is pretty mild.
Yeah,
for
I
me
feel the
in terms
same.
of
I
kick.
feel the same.
about you?
Like for me, this is like a medium Virginia.
Both of these guys are like Nick monsters, though.
That's true. Yeah,
I
maybe
feel like
I'm
this
feeling
is a little normal side of the table.
particularly loosey-goosey.
No. I mean, it is my first smoke of the day. I don't know that I would rate it as strong, but it's definitely more than mild for me. I mean, I would say medium body and medium strength.
I'm in like the mild
Yeah.
to like low end of medium
Yeah.
for what I'm feeling.
And Andy, I mean, you chew on Sammy with Navy Flag for fun, so.
If it's not black Irish X, I don't feel anything.
Exactly.
I need at least Rustica to feel alive.
To feel something, to feel anything, please. No.
What is love?
I wonder. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't examine everybody's sample close enough. They looked visibly very similar.
They look very similar.
And we all got similar notes in the bag note.
Yeah.
And we all had similar experiences with packing and the moisture content.
I feel like maybe I have a little bit more dark ribbons in mine than what I'm seeing in yours, maybe.
Yeah, well, I packed all the dark ribbons.
Yeah.
You picked those out.
Man.
I don't know, man. I feel like there's just something about it that it reminds me of McBaron. And I don't know why. I don't know what I'm getting necessarily that's picking that up for me. I think it's a bit how I don't know.
If I was forced to put my finger on it, it tastes like a C&D Burley blend to me.
Really?
That's what it reminds me of.
A little bit.
Interesting.
Like,
So
Virginia's there, but like red Virginia's, but I'm also getting that dryness, and like I smoke enough Cornell and Deal, something tastes like Cornell and Deal Burley to me.
And one thing that's interesting is when I just smell the tobacco sitting here, you mentioned vinegar. I'm getting a good whiff of vinegar off of the tobacco.
Yeah.
But it's not tasting vinegary. It does have that kind of wininess to it that is kind of in the similar range, but there's nothing about the taste coming out of the bowl that says vinegar to me.
Yeah, same.
I'm getting some pretty crazy like warming spices on the Retro Hail now, and like a lot of cereal notes. Like for a minute there, it was like al dente like pasta, or like bulgur wheat and stuff like that.
That's what I'm just now starting to taste.
Yeah, like really bready, really cereal notes. I was getting kind of a little bit of cinnamon, is what it felt like on the Retro Hail. I keep getting stuff that reminds me of Dark Fired. You're talking about Burley, and like maybe we're talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
One of the other things I was going to say is like, okay, this is San Sepulcro from the last run. Or something like that.
That's kind of what the back of my brain is.
Yeah, I was thinking like we, San Sepulcro, this year's batch dropped not that long ago. I remember it being not quite like this, and that could be the difference in like age or whatever.
Sure.
Well, this year's had Black Cavendish, right?
Oh,
the
the
last
blend
run
yeah.
did not.
I don't know, man.
No, it did.
Yeah, they added Black Cab.
No, they didn't.
No,
Oh,
the blend
they
is
didn't?
exactly the
It's
same.
the same blend.
Oh,
It's just a
Okay.
flake. It's just a
Okay.
flake.
It's just
Yeah.
a flake.
What year did the last run of San Sepulcro drop?
It's like 2021.
Yeah, a
So
couple
this
years
would be
ago,
like 3 years of age.
basically, and that seems like a reasonable time
Also,
frame.
also that cut was already rubbed.
And this was pretty similar to that.
Pretty ready.
Pretty ready. Pretty good to go.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
it wasn't a ribbon, but it also wasn't a flake. So I guess there's only one option.
Yeah.
Man, I feel like what I'm tasting is so off base. Then, if that's the case, I'm not. You guys are saying it's very dry and very spicy. I'm just not getting that. I don't know if it's because like maybe mine needed a little bit more drying time before I packed it. But like to me, it's just I'm getting. I don't know, like.
I'm getting a little bit of like molasses or brown sugar sweetness now after another tamp.
Like this,
it's also pretty
this
creamy.
like reminds me a little bit of like Scottish flake or like something like that.
Yeah, but it's definitely not.
I know it's not, but like
Yeah, because there's something going on in like top note or whatever that is unusual.
yeah.
And you just mentioned creaminess, like that. As I've gotten down maybe about a quarter of the way into this bowl, that is now starting to become one of the predominant
Characteristics, yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of cream. Still the wine and the bread a little bit, but that's
Almost got a
that's
full
definitely-
meal.
Yeah, all right.
So whatever it is, it's wildly transitional.
Like the
It's
everlasting
changed on me
gobstopper.
like 4 times already.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I'm struggling to pin down anything that's been front and center since the first light.
Yeah, at least consistent.
Yeah. What are we smoking it in today, guys? Let's buy some time.
Quite some time, yeah.
I've got my Alexander Hasty.
Nice.
One
That's
of
such a good pipe.
Yeah, one of my favorite pipes. It smokes fantastic. It's been a workhorse since I picked it up. Mm-hmm. Love it.
Very nice. Smoking a retro Danish bulldog from Abe Herbal.
That's a very nice pipe.
Love
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's such a good bulldog. I am smoking a workhorse Meerschaum by AKB. Basically, these little. I ended up with quite a few of these when they first came out, and they're extremely good for tasting. They're also pretty handy if you just want to have like one pipe in your pocket. Like pretty durable, and also. With Meerschaum, you can be a little more free and like switching back and forth between what you smoke. Although I've only ever smoked Virginia out of this because I can't help it. But yeah, I love this pipe, and it likes this tobacco.
Nice. I'm doing a sandblasted pot from Pete Prevost. Super cool feature on this pipe. Got the peekaboo accent.
Oh yeah,
on the
nice.
stem.
Love that.
Nice.
Oh yeah. And we love Pete.
Yeah. But what is it about when pipe makers take like a little extra time to do something silly and hidden? It just like
Yeah, it just
That's
puts it over
super
the
cool.
top.
it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, the wine is coming back for me.
I'm still getting like almost zero sweetness though.
Yeah. Oh, it's very dry. Yeah, this is like a dry spiced wine right now. Is what I'm getting.
The last time I tamped, I got notes that I thought were more sweetness. Like I said, a little brown sugary, a little molassesy, but it wasn't the actual sensation of sweet. It was just those flavors.
It's like a sourdough.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
sour-
Shane's. That's Shane's. Yeah, like I'm humoring you, but not agreeing with
No. I've said no, dude. If you go
Good
way
job,
back,
Andy.
if you
Proud
go
of
way
you.
back in all of the tasting notes videos I've ever done, sourdough is a common Red Virginia
some marzipan.
Got
thing
some-
for me.
Got some stone fruit in there, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not getting any marzipan though,
Yeah.
for the record.
I think part of my problem thus far is I'm still breaking in this pipe a little bit.
A bold move.
Yeah.
See if it pays off.
See if it pays off, Kyle. But the spice is ramped up for me now towards the bottom. I mean, the retro is like nearly Nicaraguan cigar retro.
Really?
Yeah, like it's a pretty good nasal wake up in the morning.
I might not be getting it. My sinuses are still fried from the Muletown show last week, so
You don't need your sinuses.
right, they're overrated.
A good nasal wake up in the morning.
I normally
I mean,
do
he's not wrong. It's got
wasabi with my eggs.
yeah.
Like a little wasabi with my eggs.
For real though, I do be doing some ghost pepper hot sauce in the mornings for sure.
As you should.
You guys are wild.
Good way to start the day.
Get a lot of ghost pepper on the palate. Come right here and start filming.
That's great. I
That's the
start my
technique.
morning with overnight oats.
Oh, Andy.
I actually recently started doing overnight oats. I tried it out like for the first time ever.
So
Yeah.
you guys are both 40 now.
Yeah.
Dude, I tell you what though, that shit will keep you full
Yeah.
through lunch,
It's
man.
filling.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it doesn't keep me full through lunch, but it is filling.
So I guess I should also go to the doctor and have insurance.
No, that's crazy. Yeah, just
Now
eat
you're
your
just
oats and
talking
you'll be
crazy.
fine.
now you're just talking
That's
crazy,
preventative
man.
medicine. Pretty much.
All you need is some fiber.
Eat your oats. And you'll be
Just make like, if it doesn't look like bird food when you're eating it, like just throw it out.
You're doing it
That's
wrong.
trash.
doesn't look
That's
like-
right.
I don't know that I know what bird food is.
Isn't it just sugar
Do you
and
not
water?
care about the environment?
Oh, I'm not going to answer that question on camera. The environment and I have a complicated relationship.
What's the environment ever done for me? But no, the only thing that keeps me,
What's the environment ever done for me?
the only
I mean, it's
breakfast,
attacked me kind of a lot.
yeah, it's kind of like killing me with my sinuses right now.
Exactly.
Actually,
That's fair. That's
yeah.
fair.
But no, the only thing that keeps me full till lunch if I eat it for breakfast is like a rack of ribs.
The old breakfast ribs.
Breakfast of champions. It's got everything a growing boy.
Is that Waffle House secret menu item?
I hope so. I want to go to every Waffle House and try to order a rack of ribs.
Do you have the ribs? Oh man.
That could be the commercial's tagline too.
So now that
Got ribs.
now we can reveal that this month's mystery review is sponsored by Waffle House.
Yeah.
Well, this went off the rails.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Honestly, that was
so-
better than me saying this is something that it's not. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think like getting through like halfway through the bowl here, like I think my experience is starting to converge with what you guys are talking about a little bit. Like, if this were something like a McBeer in Virginia, by this point I would be expecting a whole lot of sweetness.
And there's just none.
I wouldn't say that there's none. Like, I am getting a little bit of sweetness. I still think that like
would
this
feel
is a Virginia forward blend.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is, I would feel the same way if this was any European manufacturer Virginia forward blend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whether
lot
it was
more
Rattrays
sweetness,
or
yeah.
whether it was Astley's or any of that kind of stuff. You tend to get like that honey sweetness with a lot of those tobaccos, and I'm still mostly getting tang, spice, and grainy, bready notes. Also, too,
a little bit of sourness.
other than the sour sort of like you guys both said vinegar, I didn't get a ton from the tin note, bag note that suggested like continental tobaccos.
Right. Yeah, mine was, I got a general tangy that maybe I perceived as vinegar, but like a general tanginess.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is, like, if you just handed me a tin of this and I was supposed to blindly guess what it was without smoking it, I would have been like, it's a straight red Virginia maybe, or something like that. Like, I don't get almost any other characteristics out of the aroma or out of the bag note
Than Virginia.
The side stream is different, but I can't tell if that's
It's a little floral.
It's a little.
Like, I'm getting a little bit of like floral qualities.
Yeah.
Like, not like Lakeland
Yeah.
per se, but it's almost like maybe not floral, but more like herbal.
Yeah. Man.
Like burning sage or rosemary kind of thing.
Now you're talking my language.
Yeah, I can see like sage and rosemary. I wouldn't have thought floral.
I think herbal's probably a better,
Yeah.
but those are so closely tied.
I'm still not getting like a ton of Perique-like spice though. I think it's a little spicy, but it's a bit more like that spice is sort of integrated into the smoke, whereas like Perique I feel like sort of sits on top of the smoke a little bit. Like it's like, I don't know, I'm having a hard time articulating this, but I don't know. It's like more like what I would associate with cigar leaf or dark fired.
Yeah. So, Steve, we talked about like the creaminess, which I still get in hints and bursts. Again, I feel like I'm naming a bunch of sweet things and then like claiming that this isn't sweet.
Yeah.
But I just got like the very, very distinctive taste of like nougat. Like the taste, not like any sweetness, but like candy bar nougat, like on the retro hill.
Candy bar sans sugar. Sounds disgusting.
Not any worse than overnight oats.
That's supposed to be disgusting, though. That's the point.
Yeah. I love how anytime somebody tries it, it's like, oh, it's terrible, but you gotta do it.
That's how you know it's good for you.
Yeah.
Overnight oats are meant to break your will.
I'm just conditioned to that stuff though. Like we had a saying when I used to wrestle that was like, if it tastes good, spit it out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because like seriously, like anything that tastes good is terrible for you.
I don't live
Don't
by that
ever
motto.
enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Don't ever
I'm kind of
enjoy
on the opposite track,
Yeah, for
honestly.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it to anyone, but yeah, life's too short not to enjoy tasty things.
You might not be able to tell by looking at me, but I'm not currently cutting weight. I'm not trying to make weight.
I'm trying to bulk up. I'm trying to get back up to my fighting weight.
I'm a grown boy.
All right, are we gonna make some guesses or what? I've gone. The mental gymnastics happening right now are impressive. 10 out of 10, and I'm back to the beginning.
Just think what you could do, like gymnastically, mentally, if you ate your overnight oats.
If I mentally ate overnight.
That's true. Like just imagine yourself eating them, and then you'd be like,
Visualization.
I am a tiger.
Is that the theme song
Just
for
kidding.
gymnastics?
You should probably cut that. Yeah.
Do you have a hype song that is public domain?
Toughie.
No, I don't know.
She'll be coming
I don't know.
around.
Right? There she comes.
That's on my Get Psyched mix.
So
You guys remember that movie Rock-a-Doodle-Doo?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, that like little whistling rooster song.
Chanticleer.
Chanticleer, yeah.
Yeah, that thing is always stuck in my head.
God, I haven't seen that in forever.
It was released the year I was born.
Oh man.
Oh no, sorry, I'm thinking about the animated Robin Hood. with the fox.
What?
Yeah. And then there's like a little rooster that like does all the like and it's like
He's like the narrator,
Yeah.
Yeah, those are two wildly different.
Very different
Yeah.
movies.
That's
He's
very
like, actually, I was thinking about Fern Gully.
The little toaster, man. Like
Toaster.
wild,
I was
wild
actually
movie.
thinking about Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
Apocalypse Now. Some of my favorite childhood.
Yeah, my entire childhood's a blur, man. So I don't remember one movie from another one.
We'll unpack.
I remember I was like really into like Scamper the Penguin. You guys have ever seen that? This is
I
super
don't
good.
think I know what
I'm
that
not
is.
familiar.
no idea.
Yeah, man.
I think you might have made that up.
He did just say his childhood's a blur, so
It's true.
he might be making some stuff up.
Somebody out there's gonna know what I'm talking about.
So tobacco, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
guess-
man.
guess-
All right,
what do we
guesses. First of all, Tyler. Oh God.
Yeah, he
Why?
killed it. Yeah.
So
New panelist first.
yeah.
Oh man, I'm leaning away from European. I definitely think that it is primarily Virginia. God, I don't know. I'm in the hot seat here, and I really don't have a great guess. This has just changed on me so many times. I haven't been able to pin it down.
Manufacturer or anything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm leaning towards something American.
Yeah.
Wild guess, and I'm probably going to be wrong here, but maybe something in the C&D family, something produced by C&D. Definitely interesting. Not even going to take a guess at a blend. I can't even pin it down. But yeah, I'm going to say probably be wrong, but say something in the C&D world.
Fair.
My turn.
Yeah.
Let's roll.
I don't think. I don't know.
Don't sound so confident.
Well, we all do right now.
Say it with your chest.
Yeah.
Say it with your chest.
7LE 140th.
Oh.
Interesting.
Oh.
Interesting.
What? That?
Damn it, Andy.
That's not the one with the citrus, right?
It is.
Oh, okay. It is. Wow. Old move cotton.
That's a pretty good guess, man.
Yeah.
You just pull that out of the bag, or you been holding out on us?
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Well, I was totally wrong in the beginning, I feel like, and so now I'm walking it back and trying to figure out what it is that I'm tasting. I do feel like there's something a little floral, a little brighter, but it's not quite like a bright sweetness. And I do feel like there's some spice there that I would associate with dark fired.
And see, that's the thing is, I think I'm gonna go ahead and stick with an older edition of San Sepolcro.
Okay.
Primarily because if there is dark fired in here, it would not surprise me at all if it was Italian dark fired.
Yeah.
A little less fire cured, typically. Definitely more herbal, more floral. And some of those fruity
that,
notes.
like cigar-like quality, right?
It still has that cigar-like quality. But, if you smoke a lot of Toscanos, for example, one of the best ways to compare American and Italian leaf would be to do something like smoke an Antica Reserva and an Antica Tradizione or whatever. Very similar blends, one with an American wrapper, one with an Italian wrapper. And this gives me some of those vibes of the Italian grown dark fired. I also remember past examples of San Sepolcro that I've smoked with some age on them. So this is going to sound crazy, but I remember thinking that smoking San Sepolcro somehow could be a pinch hitter for like all my aged Rattray Virginias. They had a similar tang to them, similar dry finish, not overly sweet. There's something about them that always reminded me of those tobaccos, which I've smoked pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds of over the years. They're some of my favorites. having just recently smoked this year's San Sepulcro, fresh, it has a lot more earthiness and a lot more spice.
Yeah.
But this could be in the sweet spot of being a couple years old. Too. Fresh, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Like there was a little bit of cocoa and some stuff like that too that I noticed.
From this year's.
From this year's,
okay.
Yeah. But again, you do have slightly different format, having been pressed longer and flake cut instead of rubbed out.
The Virginia grades have changed as
Absolutely,
well.
Absolutely. But yeah, I think that's going to be my best guess. I do think this is a Cornell and Deal product.
Yeah.
And I'm going to stick with dark fired instead of Oriental or something like that.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I too am going to say San Sepulcro with chest.
All right.
Let's do it.
I'm currently working through a tin, but I'm going to say I think this is a fresh tin of San Sepulcro.
Really?
I'm working through a tin currently.
Like the like flake that we...
Right.
Okay.
Like this year's?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think maybe Tyler just rubbed it out really well.
Yeah.
It's given me a lot of similarities to the tin I'm working through currently.
Okay.
And just shameless plug of Mad Fiddler Flake. I'm working through a tin of that as well.
When are you not working?
Just a reminder.
Yeah.
Alan likes Mad Fiddler Flake. All right. I guess we can find out.
Good morning, gentlemen. I hope by this point you've enjoyed the tobacco provided for you. I've always enjoyed being on this side of the video because being a more predominant cigar smoker, being able to somewhat refresh gentlemen like yourselves, what I consider experts into the pipe game, being able to maybe reminisce you with something that you haven't smoked in a long time or smoke ever, hopefully turning on to you a new favorite as well as the consumers in the smoking pipe world. So let's go ahead and get this started. Today you are smoking the Cornell and Deal Manhattan Afternoon. This is a particular favorite of mine when I do pick up my pipe. It's a nice Golden Virginia blend in flakes with a drop of honey to give you a nice natural sweetness. Which you will probably find, as you did in your bags, that they are not a flake, because I went ahead and did all the legwork for you guys, breaking them apart for you, hopefully fooling you a little bit. But also what makes it a little bit more unique is this actually came from my personal stash, a tin that I opened up that was dated in 2021. So hopefully the age added to that is made it just that much more enjoyable for you. So thanks, gentlemen.
Damn it, Tyler.
Manhattan Afternoon is a straight Virginia, correct?
Manhattan, it's bright grades.
Yeah.
Only.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's shocking how much a couple of years changes just straight bright Virginia and honey. Like, where's all this spice coming from?
Yeah.
That is kind
There
of
was like
blowing my mind
serious
right now.
spice towards the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah. I'm still getting it.
Andy's having a moment.
And he was
broke
probably
Andy.
closest when he guessed to
Yeah.
McBarry in Virginia, though. Like, technically.
Yeah.
Cigar leaf.
Cigar leaf. I know. Also, yeah, Tyler is smoking a cigar in this video, which I think is great, because it's like you couldn't go 120 seconds or so.
It's very on.
Without a cigar
It's
in his
very
life.
on brand for him.
Yeah.
If he's awake, he has a cigar lit.
Yeah. Man,
I don't know, Shane.
I feel like I don't believe it.
Yeah, I'm a little incredulous. Like like you and I feel like have both smoked quite a lot of that entire series, actually.
Yeah.
And like, I'm sorry, but this is not bright leaf with 3 years of age on it.
Yeah, even just fundamentally, if you'd have just
Dude,
given me
it's
that
not.
hint,
I
It's
know.
like-
I know.
Tyler's a liar.
I mean, like,
Dude.
I don't know. Maybe
I've seen
maybe
bright
it
leaf
is.
look like that
Yeah.
after steaming.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
thing. Maybe, yeah. Is Manhattan Afternoon steamed?
No. Nope.
Yeah, I don't really know what to make of this. I will be smoking Manhattan Afternoon, I think, just to try to like regain some sanity.
We've got fresh tins right here on
there
the
you
wall.
go.
We should pop.
we can help you out
pop
with that
one.
here at Low Country.
Yeah.
So have we ever just called shenanigans on an Inquisitor?
Once or twice.
Once or twice.
Once or twice.
Tyler
But
would be the one to do it.
Tyler would be the one to do it. I mean, so he's got a tin of Manhattan Afternoon on the table, but he's pulled this out of a jar of his own. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, to be fair, moving tobacco out of a tin into a jar, introducing oxygen to it, letting it continue to age, it will age more rapidly, or it will feel like it ages more rapidly. I've done that experiment many times myself, like take 2 tins from the same production run, leave one in the tin, put one in a jar, and after 2 years the one in the jar is nearly, chestnut brown, and you prop a tin fresh and it's like blonde. That doesn't account for the crazy flavor change, though.
Yeah.
More sweetness, you know what I mean? A little more sugary, sure.
You like would get more sweetness.
Yeah.
Not less sweetness.
Yeah, exactly.
Even now, like trying to hype myself up to convince myself that I'm tasting honey here, I just can't do it.
Yeah, it
Like
just
that kind of
doesn't.
sweetness.
So this is kind of shameful to admit. I don't know if I've ever smoked Manhattan Afternoon. Normally in that Elegant series, I'd go to Sunday Picnic.
Yeah, I mean, Sunday Picnic is the bomb.
For sure.
No, I smoked more Sunday Picnic and Red Carpet than Opening Night, Manhattan Afternoon, and Interlude. I mean, I could buy that this was Interlude easier than Manhattan Afternoon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Man. All right, well, good try, I guess. We don't know anything.
Yeah, that's the takeaway.
That's the takeaway.
And eat your oats.
We got the
Eat your
manufacturer right, but for the completely wrong reasons.
Wah.
Yeah, that's fine. And just remember, if you really want to do things right, you start your mornings with a full rack of ribs.
If there's one takeaway from this video, I hope America learns to eat ribs for breakfast.
Eat ribs for breakfast. Alan, what did you say? That's a nice nasal
Wasabi with eggs.
Wasabi with eggs.
I say ghost pepper.
Ghost pepper. And then I'm the boring oat guy. So.
And to be fair, I did not have any ghost pepper today, which could explain my absolute fumble.
Yeah, you don't know how to taste things if you don't have ghost pepper.
I also didn't start my day with Toscano smoked Demasado either.
Dude,
so I'm
that's the
telling
key.
you, that's
the key.
You really have to do that to like prime your palate.
Yeah,
I think so too. I think so too.
Well,
all right, Tyler.
well done.
Well done, Tyler.
Well done, Mr. Caldwell.
Tip
I
my hat.
swear to God, Tyler's going to be the only panelist in one of these. One of these days, I'm going to be like, executive decision. Tyler guesses by himself. 5 people submit blends. He has 10 minutes.
He has to cook all of them in succession.
Yeah, Tyler's undefeated as an Inquisitor, right?
Is he?
Yeah.
He might be.
Yeah, I think he's typically pretty good.
Yeah.
Typically pretty good.
He hides in plain sight.
That's right.
He gave us the red herring with the double X.
Again, diabolical.
Yeah, seriously.
Diabolical. Yeah.
I love that it wasn't just me either. That he made sure that everybody
He made sure we all
had that
saw
in
it.
our heads.
Yeah. That guy plays the long game.
Yeah, exactly. All right, everybody. Mystery review for March.
Yep. Thanks for tuning in.
Another loss.
Another loss. Tune in next time. Maybe we'll do better.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Tune in next time where it's just going to be like oregano and
Oregano.
and we're going to be like, I'm pretty sure this is Latakia.
There's some dark fire in there.
I'm really getting a perique thing on the nose. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate you.
See you next month.
See y'all next month.